Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, I will be breaking into the top 5 best anti-griefer vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Griefing is one of the most despicable acts of online gaming, at least in my opinion. The fact that somebody can, in a matter of seconds, destroy hours and days of hard work is by far one of the most annoying things, especially when it comes to making money in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's very irritating to be selling motorcycle product or having, for example, like this week, a ×2 bunker sale, and then having it all blown up because somebody just wanted to blow it up. However, there are ways to counter griefers, and in today's video, I'll be showcasing, in my opinion, some of the best vehicles that absolutely counter griefers. The first two are right in front of me, and they are Imani tech vehicles. Now, I'm showing two because there's two different types of Imani tech vehicles. We have the Buffalo STX, which has semi-bulletproof glass. You can see when you shoot at the glass, it's not going to break. You can shoot at it over and over and over, and it takes a lot of bullet fire to break the glass. We also have the ominous EGT, which you'll notice has no bulletproof glass. Every single shot goes straight through the car. So there is a bit of a downside when it comes to bullet protection in the ominous EGT. However, what the ominous EGT has over the STX is surviving the same amount of RPGs and homing rockets. This vehicle can only survive half of the RPGs as homing rockets. However, if you want my personal opinion, I still feel like the Buffalo STX is a better choice. Because, first of all, who's going to be shooting RPGs at you and is going to hit all 6 of them while you're driving this vehicle, which I should point out has an incredible top speed. Oh, well, we crashed there, but has an incredible top speed of 126 miles per hour. Add that into the fact that the STX also has the ability to drop slick mines, which means that anybody chasing you is going to have a very hard time keeping up because you can just spam these over and over. They're not as good as vehicles like the Insurgent Pickup Custom that can obviously use mines to just detonate you, but this vehicle is still amazing for just warding people off that are chasing you. Add that finally into the fact that this vehicle also has a homing lock-on jammer, which means anybody in, for example, an Oppressor Mark II or any flying vehicle that has missiles cannot home on you. It essentially means that you're unkillable when you drive an STX. I do believe that there are other vehicles that are really good, like the Insurgent Pickup Custom obviously is just an absolute tank when it comes to surviving homing missiles. You don't really need a tank when this vehicle can not only survive 12, but at the same time can use slick mines to ward off people on foot, drive faster than most things on the ground, and as well, finally, as I said, this vehicle can't even be locked on, which makes it infinitely better than any other vehicle that can be. So by far, I would say the STX is one of the best vehicles in the game when it comes to surviving against griefers. You're not really going to be doing much offensive capabilities against them, but if you're just driving from point A to B, this is by far one of the best items in the game. Up next, we have this, the Hauler Custom. Now, on normal untrained eyes, this looks like your normal semi-truck. However, the Hauler Custom has a couple absolutely amazing things going for it to completely ward off griefers. First of all, the Hauler Custom is fast. It has a pretty decent top speed, upwards of, I think it's around 120 miles per hour, which is good. That's really good for a semi-truck, although you do have to keep in mind that braking-wise, I'm going to hold brakes right now. Yeah, it's a semi-truck. You can see my tires skidding. This vehicle is not good when it comes to applying the brakes, but that is pretty expected. Some things the Hauler Custom is great at, first of all, does carry semi-bulletproof windows. You can see here if we pull out a normal rifle and we shoot at it, yeah, so you can't actually kill the driver in this vehicle while moving at full speed because just like the Buffalo STX and all the Imani tech vehicles for the most part, you can't break through the glass. But the more important part is this vehicle can survive literally a barrage of missiles. You could fire upwards of 35, 40 missiles at this thing, and it still will not blow up. And that is what makes the Hauler Custom so dang strong, is the fact that this is the most missile-resistant vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. It is essentially impossible for an Oppressor Mark II, and then also pulling out a normal Oppressor after you're out of missiles to blow this vehicle up, which gives you plenty of time to figure out what you're going to do when somebody is trying to kill you. If you want to make your way to your bunker, make your way to an apartment, to your orbital cannon, whatever you want to do, this is an absolutely fantastic vehicle to do it in because it's essentially impossible to kill you while you are driving it. Next up, we have the Deluxo, which is not only great at avoiding being hit by missiles, but at the same time carries some of the best missiles in the game. A lot of people don't realize that if you have even the most accurate homing missiles fired at you, the ones coming out of a Deluxo or a Ruiner 2000, for example, if you fly at them with the Deluxo and then just make sure to dodge at the last second, they will not be able to turn around fast enough to hit you, and because of that, they're going to completely miss. The Deluxo, I would actually say, is one of the easiest vehicles in the game to actually dodge homing missiles in. When you add that into the fact that the Deluxo can spam some of the most overpowered missiles in the game, also the fact that if anybody on foot is trying to shoot you, you can essentially just tilt the front of your vehicle up and then this is what they're looking at and they can't shoot you in the head at all, it makes the Deluxo an absolutely fantastic anti-griefer vehicle. You can easily nuke griefers out of the sky, especially if they're in an oppressor, because if they're trying to fly around you, all you need to do is turn your Deluxo like this. You will always outturn them, and it's just an amazing vehicle for absolutely dealing with jets, for really anything in the sky that would try to blow you up. The Deluxo easily takes care of that. Anything on foot that would try to blow you up, the Deluxo easily takes care of that. And finally, something a lot of people don't know about the Deluxo is that it actually drives incredibly fast on land. It has a top speed of 127 miles per hour, making this a great vehicle for driving very fast from point A to point B, and then once you need to, you just put it in the flying mode and boom, nuke somebody. So I really like the Deluxo. It's always been one of my favorite vehicles in the game. In fact, I got this before the Toreador and the Oppressor Mark II on my Broke to Billions account as an anti-griefer vehicle just because it is so dang fantastic. Settling cargo in a public lobby can be very painful for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you're part of a motorcycle club, you do not have the opportunity to go into Ghost Organization. If you were to go through the abilities you have, you don't really have any. It kind of sucks, and I don't know why Rockstar doesn't give you the option to have Ghost Org in a motorcycle club, but because you don't, you're at a major disadvantage. However, the advantage you have as a motorcycle club president is that you can constantly spawn in motorcycle after motorcycle. Now, the Oppressor Mark II is the best anti-griefing vehicle when it comes to being as part of a motorcycle club, apart from one problem, and that is if it gets blown up, you have to wait 5 minutes to get it back. However, the normal Oppressor doesn't have that cooldown, and the normal Oppressor fires the exact same amount of missiles. Yes, it's not as fast, and you can't fly constantly in the air, but the advantage of being able to constantly spawn in the Oppressor and basically have infinite missiles, so you can see here, I'm going to return it to my storage. Then I can just request it again, and boom, there it is. It spawned right in on the road. Not sure I have to run over to it, but that's a heck of a lot faster than having to wait 5 minutes for my Oppressor Mark II to come back because I've just called it in. So the Oppressor, in my opinion, is actually the best motorcycle club defensive anti-griefer vehicle, because if you see a griefer going towards you and let's say you're in the middle of a sail mission, you can instantly get out of your vehicle, go to interaction, and boom, spawn in your Oppressor instantly. I would still say that the Oppressor Mark II is great as well, but it's just not as good as the Oppressor because once you're out of missiles, that's it. You can't spawn it back in. You gotta wait the entire time. As an honorable mention, before we get into the final vehicle behind me, we have this, the Flare Launcher. Now you might be asking how the Flare Launcher in any way is a good anti-griefing weapon, and it's a very simple answer. It is because missiles, specifically homing missiles, are distracted by flares. You know this, as a lot of the anti-missile countermeasures on flying vehicles like the Rogue, the Hunter, are flares. You can launch them and all the missiles will be distracted. Well, that is the exact same case when it comes for the flare gun. If you're inside of a vehicle, let's say you're doing the newly buffed vehicle cargo sale missions, guess what? You can just launch a bunch of flares out of your window and nothing's going to be hitting you when it comes to missiles. Now, I do think that you can shoot missiles faster than you can fire flares, but the fact that you can still distract a large majority of missiles being fired at you is a great countermeasure rather than just shooting a little puny SMG at somebody in an Oppressor that you're never going to hit. With that aside, the final vehicle we have is this, the Akula. Now, the Akula is amazing for a lot of reasons. First of all, you can put it in the stealth mode. Right now I'm in stealth mode. You'll see it says, all pilots and passenger weapons are unavailable. And that is because I'm in stealth mode. What stealth mode means is that you are not on the radar. So if you were to look on the map, you would not see anything. It would just look like there's nobody in the session. That is the first thing that makes this 100% anti-griefer proof, is you can't grief somebody that is not seen on the radar. But you can instantly just go out of griefer mode and spam homing missiles at somebody, and then once they try to find you, boom, go back into stealth mode. So it's pretty insane that you can just go in between modes instantly. Also, you've got an insanely strong machine gun on the front that you can see you can fire. It's great. And I mean, the Akula is just an amazing helicopter. It's also incredibly fast at flying, and I should also point out that it has bombs, which you can just drop on a bunch of people, keep dropping, keep dropping. So overall, the Akula is an absolutely amazing vehicle when it comes to Grand Theft Auto Online. It has the ability to drop bombs, it has the ability to go into stealth mode, and shoot non-stop missiles. Add that into the fact that this is one of the fastest flying helicopters in the game, and it's pretty easy to understand why the Akula makes today's list. So, as always, if you enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!